What is the Tetris Effect? It is a strange sensation that occurs for some people who play Tetris for a prolonged period of time. Their brain may start applying the same logic of moving objects and making them fit into one another to trivial things in their day-to-day lives, like packing a suitcase or putting things in the fridge. It may also involve seeing falling tetrominos in front of your eyes and trying to put them in the right place when doing non-Tetris related things, a little similar to seeing after images from staring into a bright light. Tetris is gaming in its purest form. It tests your reflexes and your problem-solving skills, and it still is playable today as it was back in 1984 when it was first released. Over the past decades, one version of Tetris after the other has been released on pretty much every existing video game platform. It takes a lot for a new Tetris game to stand out these days, and to contribute to Tetris history, as many incarnations have been forgotten over time. Enter the game, named after the effect, named after the game.
Come follow me. I'll show you the side of yourself, the person that you've always been, but never dreamed.
Tetris Effect was released in 2018 on PS4 and later on Windows and Xbox One. Now, I am what you may call a Tetris veteran. Tetris on the original Game Boy was one of my first gaming experiences, and I've grown to really love the game in my teenage years, even on a competitive level, even though I'm not a competitive person or particularly like multiplayer games. Tetris, however, struck a bit of a chord with me in that regard. Competitively, I played Tetris Battle on Facebook, Puyo Puyo Tetris on Switch, and also Tetris 99, the only battle royale game that I actually like. Now, all that being said, even though Tetris Effect looked interesting from afar, I for some reason decided to ignore it. And I kept ignoring it until it hit the Nintendo Switch. And boy oh boy, why did I not stop ignoring this game sooner? Not only is this game perfect for competitive play, but it is also the perfect Tetris single-player experience. And I mean the term experience quite literally. The single-player campaign, called Journey Mode, provides you with many different stages, each having its own theme and music. Each stage requires you to clear a set amount of lines to proceed to the next one. One new feature this game provides is the zone. By clearing lines, your zone meter slowly fills up. Through the push of a button, you can enter the zone, in which you can try to clear as many lines as possible for additional points until the zone meter is depleted. The lines you clear here do not add to the ones required to finish the stage, so you can use the zone strategically to either get rid of accumulated rubbish, or to get additional points, which you need if you aim for a double S ranking and a place in the leaderboards. For higher scores, you should try to get as many Tetrises back to back as possible, or, if you have the skill, try to go for T-spins or all clears. Now, if you don't know what a T-spin is, it's referring to spinning a T-shaped tetromino into a gap that it usually wouldn't fit into by merely dropping it. A mere T-spin will give you points, but a T-spin that clears one or more lines will give you more points than a Tetris. So if you want to get an extremely high score, you should practice those. My poor brain still struggles with T-spins, as it feels wrong to purposefully keep gaps open, but that's just me. What truly sets this game apart from other Tetris iterations is the presentation. Both the music and stages are dynamic. Each of your button inputs is accompanied by a musical note, and the more lines you clear, the more the background tune evolves, and so does the scenery as well. The stages all feel different from one another, each providing its own feel and atmosphere. The music is incredible, and the mood of the stages ranges from relaxing to intense. The perfect combination of sound and visuals enhance the experience while playing to such a degree that you can't get enough. It burns into your eyes and ears, and you really start to feel the Tetris effect long after you stop playing. All in all, there are 27 stages spread over 7 areas. You can choose to play from any completed stage and get high scores for the respective area. Or you can do a full marathon, playing every stage in succession and trying to get into the leaderboards. This takes time though. Approximately 75 to 90 minutes, so make sure you have enough time for that. Outside of Journey mode, there are also the Effect modes, where you can choose between a couple of different single-player challenges. There's Ultra, where you only have 3 minutes to get as many points as possible. There's Sprint, where you need to clear 40 lines as fast as you can. And a whole bunch of rather unconventional ones with different presets, like All Clear, where you need to use the few tetraminos provided to clear the entire field. Or Mystery, which frankly is just hurting my brain. Of course, there is also the very traditional marathon, where you have to clear 150 lines while getting as many points as possible, and its fast equivalent, Master, where you need to clear 300 lines at a ridiculous speed. Something that, if the leaderboards are to be believed, only 4 people ever achieved, but it still provides you with a nice framework to aim for high scores. But if you truly want to put your skills to the test, then there is no way past multiplayer, and the game again provides you with a variety of modes. Each of them has its own leaderboards and ranking point system. The ranking points you accumulate in each mode contribute to the overall ranking. If you don't want to participate in any ranked matches, you can also just play with friends, either online or locally. The goal in Zone Battle is to knock out your opponent by sending your rubbish lines to them. In order to do so, you have to clear more than one line in one go. The zone function from Journey mode is present here as well and can be used to clear the field and launch a big attack on your opponent. Score Attack has the simple goal of getting more points than your opponent until you die. After the first player dies, the second player has a 2-minute time frame of beating their opponent's score, so trying to get a big lead early on can be quite helpful later. Just like in single player, you will benefit by using T-spins and all clears. Clearing 2 lines with a T-spin in Zone Battle will send 4 lines of rubbish to your opponent, and an all clear will send even more. In Score Attack, T-spin clears will keep your line count low, while still giving you a huge amount of points. As the speed increases every 10 lines, T-spins will help you score big before tetraminos start dropping too fast. If Zone Battle and Score Attack are too modern for you, you can try out your skills in Classic Score Attack. It's pretty much the same as Score Attack, as the goal is still to get more points than the other player. However, there are no extra points for T-spins or all clears in this. What makes this mode more difficult though, unlike the modern variants, as soon as a falling tetramino touches a surface, it's stuck. Very much like in Tetris on the Nintendo Entertainment System. The tetraminos feel more difficult to control, and at higher speeds you really need to plan ahead where you want them to drop. You can't hold a tetramino either. There is no indication of where they are going to land, and hard drops are also not a thing here. Also, this may be pure speculation on my part, but I feel that in all other modes there is an algorithm present that causes an equal amount of each type of tetraminos to appear. Like, in old iterations of Tetris, it was oftentimes the case that you wouldn't get an eye-shaped tetramino for like 30 turns, only to then get 3 in a row. In Classic mode, this appears to be the case again, so getting multiple Z-shaped tetraminos in succession is a possibility, and it's annoying. From what I can tell though, this appears to be the most popular among the Tetris multiplayer modes, simply because matchmaking usually goes pretty fast by comparison. Now, these modes have been more or less present in other Tetris games as well. However, what is new to Tetris Effect is the Connected mode. In it, you and 2 other players will fight against an overpowered AI that is given special abilities. And on weekends, that AI can be replaced by a player. These special abilities can also be found as the extra conditions in the single player's Mystery mode. And again, their purpose is to hurt my brain. But I have to admit, using these special abilities against other players is quite fun. Matches in each mode can be over quite quickly, but if you're up against an opponent on your own skill level, you will have one of the most intense and satisfying experiences ever. My personal favorite mode is Score Attack, because it's not as intense as Zone Battle, and it's not as finicky as Classic Score Attack. If you don't feel like playing against other people, or want to train your PvP skills, you can also train against bots with different difficulty levels. And on the highest difficulty, they are actually really tough to beat. Now, moving on to some of the negatives in this game. Something this game could have used, but unfortunately does not have, is a 2 vs 2 mode, or 4 players free-for-all. I guess you'll have to play Puyo Puyo Tetris if you want to play with 3 of your friends without one of them being OP. Maybe they can include something like that should the developers ever decide to make a sequel. One issue that affects me personally, but might be unproblematic for others, in some stages I have trouble telling what is going on, or focusing. I cannot exactly explain it, but in stages like Da Vinci, it gets really difficult for me to distinguish free spaces from ones covered by tetrominos, because of the way they are designed. Again, this might just be on me though. The biggest problem though is something that the game can't really be blamed for, and that is that the online multiplayer base has shrunk to such a degree that matchmaking takes ages. In Score Attack, you oftentimes won't be able to find another player at all. It's not as bad in classic Score Attack, but it might still take a while. And it goes without saying that most people who still play the game are absolute badasses, and you tend to run into the same players over and over again. Overall though, this game might be the best and most fulfilling version of Tetris there is. It manages to deliver an incredible amount of content in a beautiful, breathtaking package that perfectly encapsulates what the developers wanted the players to feel. The sound and visual effects when clearing lines, the dynamic stages and music, the sheer amount of different modes for playing alone or with other people. The Tetris Effect will be burned into your mind. And it's beautiful.